we are going to look at two different data structures in Java. And this will be very similar to what we'll do in C++. They just have different names and slightly different syntax. It's a good idea to at least go through these shorter tutorials. Those are pretty good. Those are the W3, whatever they are, W3 schools. These are a little more in depth. An array is like a tuple. An array, we can't change the size of it. We can't change what's in it in Java also because we have, once we declare something, it stays. And everything in Java is an object. Let's take a look at, we know this part, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? That's nothing new there. Let me find the first tutorial. There we go. And that's where we'll start. So it's the first tutorial, which is called, boy, why is my stuff not showing up? There we go. Somehow my taskbar is now hiding, which I don't like. Okay, so accessing and looping arrays. Oh, and it says array. Okay, so we'll say this is the right one. Okay, this is close enough. We're looking at, let me zoom in. Here's an array. That's how you declare an array. It's an integer based. And you have to use the little bracket, counts equals, and now we have an array of counts that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? This is like using the range in Python. This is how we've looped through things before in Java. We have our initializing counter variable. And a counter variable is the counter variable. What's it for? What does it do? Is it something that stays forever? Do we use it for anything? Anything you know about a counter variable?
Usually use it for indexing.
Use it to typically walk through the index. It initializes the first time around at 0. And then this is pretty typical. We do have a for as loop like we do in Python, but we'll get to that next. If we want to go through the array one at a time, the array has a length property. So what is a property? This is an object. We created a new, from the integer array class, we created an object called counts. Counts has a property called length. That means that's part of what it's storing. An object either stores something or it does something. This is an information, this is what's stored in the length property. This doesn't do anything the first time around. The increment one. It increments the second time around because right now we're starting at 0. So the first one of these is going to be 0. And we access it with brackets. The second time around, this doesn't get initialized again, but this increments. And that's how it goes through the loop until it gets to the end of count.length, and then it finishes and leaves. So for loops were made for arrays. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And why did they each go on a separate line? What did I do there?
ln.
Yep. So how would I put them on the same line?
Just get rid of the ln.
Yep, get rid of the ln. There's no carriage return at the end of it. Okay, so far so good. All right, now let me see what's the next one to look at, because that's the loops, because we want to use loops with array access. Oh, there we go. There's another one. That's where I actually wanted to be. All right. So now that we know about arrays, look at here in our public static void main string. Yeah, we don't quite know what that means yet, but we're getting to the point where we can start understanding this piece. We recognize main. That's the starting point for almost all programming languages that we use. It may be inferred, like in Python, we don't have to say main, it creates main for us. But C++, Java, it has a main function someplace. Well, in Java, everything has an object. So we're creating a main object. Void means, well, what does void mean in Java as far as a method? Yeah.
It's going to return nothing.
That's right. It's not going to return anything. Static isn't anything we've talked about yet. Public means that it's accessible from any class that's part of this program. And so this one has to be public. Static means we can only ever create one. We can't have multiple objects from this. We create one and that's it. We're done. We have a main object, that's it. We can't make another one. That's what static does. So final, what does final do for us? How does final change the declaration of size? What does final do?
But make it the constant.
Yep, and it's the same thing in C++. I don't know that it's final, but you have some sort of a keyword to make it so it cannot be changed. In Python, there is no such thing as a constant, it's a convention, because you can change anything in Python.
That's not fast, but
Yep, no, Python, JavaScript, those are scripting languages, they're more loosey-goosey. So is this a constant when we make this array?
yes. Cause you're.
Is it a constant?
Add that inside.
No, are we making an array that's a constant? Is the array able to change? Can we change the individual items in the array? We can't change the length, but we can change the individual items.
Yes.
Yes, so that array is not a constant. We're using a constant to set the size.
I thought that's what you were talking about. But
Okay, sorry. We use that to set the size. That makes it easier. If we're gonna use size elsewhere in the program, we can change it up here and we're done. We don't have to jump through the program and figure out where it is. Okay, so then we print out things and we've seen this loop earlier. Oh, what is this guy doing here? What do you think's gonna happen when I print that out? It's not doing println. What's going on there? We've done these things before, but just not in this combination. What do you think, Eliza? What's that gonna look like? Are we gonna print them out in each row? Are they gonna be all on a line? What's gonna happen here?
So they are going to be in the same line.
Right? Are they gonna be next to each other or what's gonna happen when we print it?
Yes, they are going to be next to each other.
You see this little piece right here?
Yes,
What is that gonna print?
Empty spaces.
So it'll be 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space. That's how you put a space between things.
but they will still be next to each other, right?
Right, they'll be next to each other. I guess what I meant was that they'll have a space between them rather than being stacked right up next to each other.
Okay.
That's right, that was an interesting question that didn't quite get asked right. So we can access individual elements. Right? 0, 1. Oh, what are we doing here? Huh? We're not just assigning a value to it, are we? What's happening on line 23?
It's multiplying the first index.
Yep, by 2, and that value gets assigned to the second index. So you can do things like that. Oh, counts plus plus. What's that gonna do? Counts 2 plus plus.
It'll add 1 to index 2.
Yep. And how about counts 3?
It subtracts 60 from index 3.
And assigns that value back.
Right.
To index 3. Okay, good. Uh-oh, we have a while loop. In a while loop, we have to initialize the counter ahead of time, unless we're using a while true loop, which is an infinite loop, like for a game loop. So while j is less than the size, we keep going. J++, we increment around and around and around. When we get to here, we jump out. We've done while loops just like that in Python. This is similar to the for whatever is in each thing. So for count in counts, we go through one at a time. In Python, it uses more language to say it. Here we have a colon. We can't create variables on the fly with Java, so we have to initialize the variable with a data type. So this is a temporary variable that once we're out of the loop, it gets thrown away. Count no longer means anything anywhere else. But this is the same as our for whatever in. You can think of for count in count. It's the same thing as what we used in Python. How do we multiply each element by 2? We loop through the array, multiply whatever element it is by 2, assign that to another variable, and then we can print it out. We're not storing, right? We're not storing the multiplication, but we could just by saying counts 1, blah, 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 and we have counts bracket I over here, then we'd be multiplying the entire loop. I mean, the entire thing. So I could do that by adding in a thing here that just says counts. And I put in I, whoops, let's do that here, equals. Well, it'd be counts 2, wouldn't it? So now we're multiplying it. We're putting it into the array that way, so it's stored, and we're also printing it out. We don't have to store it in the array, but we could. And let's see if everything works. It should work.
Here you are.
Empty array, going through with the while loop for each loop, and notice that everything now is doubled. Does this mean that it's doubled in the array? No, you can't tell from here. You only have to look at the code, but it is doubling it in the array. So I could, instead of counts 2 plus this, what else could I do in here?
Counts 2 times 2. Well, if you want to.
I could use the array and iterate through the array, because now this counts. The array has the value changed. We don't have to use counts 2 to print it out because the array value changed. Our array is now different. Our array has all of the values in it multiplied by 2. So do run. And yep, that is actually what's in the array, plus we're printing it out. So there's lots of combinations of things we can do. All right, that's good stuff.
Out of curiosity,
Sure.
since we initialized it with a constant for the size of the array, can we change that afterwards? If we didn't use a constant before.
If we did use a constant and hard coded it, we'd have to go through every single one of those loops.
Yeah.
With this, if I want to have, where am I at here? Yeah. How am I initializing the array?
The in count sequence size.
Right, but this is empty.
Right.
Oh, I'm assigning stuff to it. We could loop through it and assign different values to it, random values, that sort of thing. And then it wouldn't matter what size it is. Actually, at this point, it's not gonna matter what size it is. Anything from 4 on is not gonna have a value unless we put a value in there. When you initialize an array like this, it's empty. So yes, we could change that. We just haven't done anything with, oh, I hard coded this, didn't I? That would be a mistake. Because we want it to be so we don't have to change anything but this. And if I hard coded any other loops, I should change that because that's not a good way to do it. Looks like I didn't, oh, yep, here's one. This way we could change it. So counts.length would be the right way to do it, because then I can change it whatever size I want.
Well, there's no way to change it after you already simple array.
Right. That's where array lists come in. They're flexible. Interestingly enough, in Python, we use lists, which you can change the list by default. And we rarely use tuples. In all other languages, you use arrays unless you need to use an array list. Anytime you have a modification of the length, that takes more processing power to hold the list in memory and work with it. So arrays, tuples, it's actually arrays also in C++, they take less overhead. But with the small toy programs we're using, it doesn't matter. But now at this point, yes, I could change this to 10, it'll still work fine. We'll just have some empty values because I didn't fill these up.
Right.
This is kind of hard coding demonstration. I could fill it up. How could I fill it up?
If you have the order.
Yeah, I just have to do something. I do counts. with a bracket I, and there's nothing in there, so I can't go I plus 10, but I could put 10 in each one of them. And then I'd have at least a value in each one.
You could use I times.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I could use I times 10. Yep. And I'd fill it up with different values.
Yeah.
And so now when I put in 10, it's going to work fine, because when I'm down there, I'm reassigning values. Yeah. So these guys will change because the first four I'm working with, this does double. So yeah, that's a better design. Good question, Owen, because that's how this should be designed. Is that I can change the array to whatever size I want, everything adjusts to it. And only have to make one change in one spot. That's the reason for constants. Is to not have to chase through your code and change 4 to 8. You do it once, you're done. Good question. Yeah, now my assignment is fixed up better. Mucho better. Oh, arrays with methods. Well, let's stop that recording and start out with one about arrays.